The best of the morning X. 99X.
I love it when local boys and girls make good, you know? And I remember a long time ago, the very first April Fool's Day prank that we ever pulled, 1994. And the prank was that Barnes, Leslie, and Jimmy had been fired and had been replaced by the much more likable AM talk show host from WGST, a gentleman at the time with the name, well, his name still is Sean Hannity.
That was a great time.
Who, of course, has gone on to much bigger things. Sean with a very, very successful show on cable on CNBC.
And we're still sitting here doing nothing.
What? I'm sorry, Fox News. What did I say, CNBC?
Yeah, you did.
Jeez, I am sorry about that, Sean. We'll get to it in a second. But that was embarrassing. Fox News. This was what it sounded like the morning back in 1994 when Sean Hannity assumed the morning slot.
Now has been listening to complaints for the better part of a year.
They decided to clean house, Sean.
Well, they want to take the station in a new direction.
Absolutely.
And this is going to be your all-new morning program. It's the all-new Morning X, we're calling it, Hannity in the Morning. And we like listener input, so we've been taking your calls this morning about a number of issues. And 10 o'clock this morning, we'll make our announcement whether or not we'll ever play Nirvana again, although we're not taking any more calls on that. And you can also call our management, let them know what you think of the new changes here. We have some other changes, other surprises coming up throughout the day, so keep it here.
It's going to be unbelievable.
New rock,
We're going to rock your world.
Let's say hi to Kim. Kim, you're on the all-new Morning X. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
I'm okay. I think it's kind of ridiculous that you guys are asking people to take this chastity
Yeah, the
whatever.
chastity. Would you take it for us?
No, that's okay.
So in other words, instead of pledging not to be a tramp, a slut, or whore, you are pledging that you will be a tramp, a slut, and a whore. Is that right?
No, I just believe that it's up to the person individually. I don't believe it's something that you should try to ask people to do.
Well, what's wrong with asking people to take a stand on a moral issue?
But you're going beyond that.
What's that?
It's almost like you're pressuring them to do it. Right, and it's just...
Well,
No, I think what we're trying to do is counter the peer pressure that exists
Exactly.
today.
And so on.
And so on and so on.
From New York, Sean Hannity.
Sean Hannity.
Hey.
From Hannity and Colmes. And Hannity is in capital letters and Colmes is in small case letters, right?
Hey, guys, you got to tell the other half of that story. Because that very same morning, you guys went on WGST, AM and FM.
Yes.
And you started talking about the way that you can end teen pregnancy is to...
Right. That's right.
To urge kids to try the gay lifestyle.
That's right. We encourage the gay lifestyle on WGST.
And they loved it.
Now,
That went over
funny.
really well.
As a matter of fact, I remember that for the next 8 hours at WGST, the phones went insane.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, the success you're having right now is huge, and also don't you?
Well, so are you guys. You guys are rocking down there. And you're doing really well, and you own the city.
Well,
on the FM dial, and I'm proud of y'all.
They're trying to evict us, though.
Who is?
It's like I'm saying it's like you own the city, but they're always trying to evict you for something.
That's right.
Just hold the management hostage till they pay you the money that you deserve, and I don't know, maybe take over the radio station, lock yourselves in there.
You know what? From your mouth to God's ears.
It'll happen.
Always, I like how
it'll happen.
This is a love fest until we start talking about the race in a second. But
so, Sean, do you miss Atlanta at all?
Yeah, I do. I love the city, Leslie. I mean, look, great people like you guys. I had a great time there. If I'm New York, I was born in New York. I was born in Long Island. I'm now living there again. So for me, it's like going home, and my family is here. So that's the number one advantage of being in New York for me. I also grew up listening to WABC Talk Radio, and I host afternoons there now. So, that's a dream come true for me. And we never dreamed Fox would become so successful. So we're pretty happy.
How'd the whole thing happen when you were here? Did Fox TV, were they in town doing something, or were they... all of a sudden they found you?
I started doing a lot of TV. First I started on CNN. I'd go on there, talk back, live program in the afternoon. And then it's once you get into this loop as a guest or a pundit, it just never stops. And I found myself flying up to New York quite a bit to do, shows like Donahue and Sally, and CNBC is where I got noticed by Roger Ailes, and I hosted a couple of Saturday night shows on CNBC. And then my contract came up at GST, and he had told me, don't sign another contract till you talk to me. And I called him, and he was starting the Fox network, and the next thing I knew, I was flying up to New York. Old Jed's a millionaire.
Well, you do a very good job on that show.
Yes, you do.
And I'll tell you, it's tough to stand out because, I mean, and I'm going to guess you'd have to admit, I watched, like, over Thanksgiving, I watched probably 5-6 hours straight in a row of Fox News. And it's like every show was... similar to the next. I mean, you got
stands out, Jimmy.
2 hosts, and then you got experts, and they're all saying the same thing. But your show does seem to stand out from the rest of the pack. Why do you think that is?
His haircut.
I don't know the answer to that. I know the ratings show that we stand out from the rest of the pack. We have 3 or 4 times the rating of Geraldo and Brian Williams, and we are neck and neck now with Larry King, who used to be the king of talk. And I don't know the answer why we're doing so well. I think part of the reason is people perceive the media as being very left, and this network has made a commitment that we're going to be, right and left.
Absolutely, and I would even say leaning a little more to the right.
We're certainly not leaning in Leslie and Barnes' direction.
That's right.
I don't. Yeah, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
And I say that affectionately, guys.
Yes. When you first got the job, here you are, local talk show host on the radio.
Right.
That's one thing. Then they put you on a national TV show, and albeit at the time CNBC was kind of a startup. I mean, nobody really watched it, but it was still a national.
CNBC, Fox News.
But when you first started, you were with CNBC, you said.
No, I went up there to host a couple of shows.
Okay, I thought, all right, okay. So when they give you the Fox News show as your own, at some point at the beginning, did you ever think to yourself, you know what, I may have bitten off more than I could chew here?
No, but I'll tell you a little secret. The camera terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I had a very hard time the first few months. Look, I'm a radio guy. Even though I would do TV, it's different going from being a pundit, a guest, to becoming a host and having to read a prompter.
Absolutely.
And I found it the most intrusive thing in my life. And then it was just like, I don't remember the exact day, but I remember how I felt. And at one point I said, I've got to get over this. And then it just kicked in, and I felt as comfortable in front of a camera as I do a microphone. And look, there's a lot more you can do on TV with pictures. That other element just adds a lot in the way you say things. You can say, now look at this, or if you want to create emphasis on a point, you can actually still out the words you're about to say and say, people can follow with their eyes the things that you're saying and sort of make the point a little stronger. But there's a magic to radio that I love, too, so I'm in a position where I get to do both. But the transition was kind of hard. I found it a little intrusive, and now I go back. I've looked at some of those old tapes. It was like a deer in the headlights. Mm-hmm. Sort of like Al Gore and George Bush going before the cameras every
I'll tell
day.
you.
But, Sean, nobody notices it, though. Nobody would notice that from day one to now. But you are someone very critical in that industry.
Yeah, well, in that, but you feel it. But I'm going to tell you, you guys, when you first came to Atlanta, you guys, you were taking chances in your careers, and you remember the first shows that you do, and everybody, when they do their first show, is nervous. And you know what? I couldn't imagine not doing something in my life because I was afraid to, take a shot or take a chance. And in this particular case, it all paid off. So I've been pretty blessed and fortunate, and, it's been a dream come true. It really has.
More of this interview you don't want to miss is back in minutes on the best of the morning X 99X.